In the beginning of the NES, there was Super Mario Bros. 2, almost. And then a little bit later, in like 1990, came the Game Genie. It was only a matter of time until they combined. I mean, again, this is the second video I'm doing on this. Look at it! Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it marvelous? The combination of love.
So yeah, let's take on the NES classic again using the Game Genie. Hardcore gaming action. Yeah. Explosion. Get ready for part 2. Warning, prolonged exposure to cheat codes may cause dizziness, invincibility, or an existential crisis.
Hello friends, it's Tim here from Mario Mayhem, and today we're up to some more Game Genie hacking action. NES style this time. Super Mario Bros. 2 is a bit of an oddball in the Mario NES trilogy. As most of us know by now, this game was originally known as Doki Doki Panic and was simply re-sprited to use Super Mario characters and released to the Western market as Super Mario Bros. 2. Japan got what we know in the West as the Lost Levels as their Super Mario Bros. 2, and then released our version of Super Mario Bros. 2 as Super Mario Bros. USA in Japan, if that makes sense. Well, I have already done a quick video on some of the cool Game Genie hacks for this game in another video, but there are so many different codes for this game that I didn't cover last time, so I'm going for episode 2 of hacking Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES, to see what other cool codes we can find out. So let's start off with the code ZAEPLETO, and this is a pretty weird one. First of all, you have to navigate your way to Birdo, but when you find them they won't be shooting eggs. Birdo now spits out not only bob-ombs, but also albatrosses in the one go. You can still use the bob-ombs to hit Birdo with, so it's still possible to progress technically, but I'm pretty curious what Birdo eats in its spare time though. Like, do they just swallow bob-ombs whole, or how does that work? Anyway, up next we have the very awesome code AASLEEGZ. And when you have this placed as your Game Genie code, you can literally touch any enemy and they will die. You can just mow down enemies like you are the Luigi equivalent of the Terminator, and nothing can stop you. Oh, except bombs. They do hurt you, so watch out. I was curious to try Birdo to see if they died in one hit, and not only are eggs deflected, but you can actually take Birdo out on contact too. It's a super fun code to try. Moving on to the next weird code, that is ENXPTIEP. When you have this in place, enemies just keep on bouncing after you throw or drop them. This is a really weird and hard to describe thing, but once you pick up and throw an enemy, they just stay on the screen and keep bouncing in their final resting place. From there, any other enemy that runs into them will cause a collision, or if you run into them you can still get hurt. I even got this tweeter somehow stuck in the ground after using him with this cheat code. It's a bit of a weird one, but I guess it kind of hinders you more than helping you in the long run. You be the judge. If you want to try something completely different, then the 3-line code NNKESPAI plus PXKEVOOK plus AVKENOAA is for you. With this giant code in place, all enemies will be frozen. Well, unless you press the B or select button. This is kind of a weird code that gives you almost full control of all enemies. You can make them stay where they are, or you can tap the B button in small bursts to make them move. I've never seen a code like this before in a game, so it's actually a new one for me. I think it's pretty rad and always surprises me what the Game Genie can do. There are more fun codes to mess with enemies, like the next 3-line code, EVOUYVPZ plus AEXLATGA plus GKXLZVIG. And this code is pretty crazy. Basically, whenever you throw a turnip or another enemy, or anything, then all of the other enemies on the screen will bite the dust. Sometimes you even get an extra enemy death as you enter the next section of the screen. If you time it right in the right situation, you can set off a chain reaction, where with one foul throw you can take out half the enemies of the level. It's super fun and I highly recommend you try it out at least once on level 1-2, where you can fly on Pidgeot's discarded carpet and just knock out all of those pitchfork Bezo heathens. Good times. You can also try the code GXVEIPAX. This epic code removes enemies completely. The only trouble is you will probably get stuck at the first door before the game freezes. This would be a sweet code if it wasn't so prone to locking, or if I could at least get a bit further in the game. Ah well, you win some and you lose some. Speaking of losing, when I was doing my research for this video, I came by a code name that I just had to try. And from its name I expected great things. It claimed to become golden with anybody and you can float. So I entered in the code KGITVKUU. Knuckles white with anticipation and nothing. It did absolutely nothing. Maybe I'm doing wrong? How could you lie to me, Game Genie? Ah well, with a code name like that I had to give it a try. There are ways to enhance enemies so they can get even with you though. If you enter in the code EYKOAIEI as your Game Genie cheat, then Shy Guys will not only jump around, but they will actually start shooting at you. The common Shy Guy has now become a triple threat all of a sudden. This cheat code just makes life hard for you, but then again it's pretty awesome to see what the Game Genie can do in this game. Another code simply called Drunk Mode caught my eye. If you enter in the code GXXVLGAX, you get some pretty interesting results. Enemies kind of blur or leave trails wherever they go. I guess it's meant to capture the idea of being drunk, but to me it has a weird kind of psychedelic effect. Maybe that's my misspent youth talking though. It's a pretty neat cheat though, as you can also get some odd graphical glitches like the bomb sprite getting stuck on the screen for example. Whenever you pick up items they also don't appear above your head at all, until you throw them. All in all it's an odd code, but it's still a pretty cool one in my books. Next up we have the Game Genie code KAXAPGGA, which was labelled as Pogo Stick for Princess. And since she is my favourite character to play in the game, I thought this could be interesting. But after entering it I thought it was just a joke. I was only able to jump a small amount off the ground. But then I finally worked it out. If you hold down the jump button instead of just tapping it, you get this weird pogo stick like princess. You just hop around and kinda hope that the timing works out so you don't hit another enemy. It's a weird code, but it's a bit of fun. Sometimes I like to check out just random codes, like this one called Twister? Yes, it's Twister with a question mark. Anyway, if you enter in the 2-line code KZXALKAO plus EIXATKEV, you instantly get pulled to the left of the screen. So it is more of a direct pull to the left hand side of the screen than a twister, well, at least for me. The novelty wore off pretty fast though, as progression was impossible, and I don't think you can actually pick up and throw things, because when I released forward and B to run faster, I just flew back to the left side of the screen. So I give this one semi-points at least, because it did kind of work like the name described it. If you enter in the Game Genie code KATAOA, the game colours get messed up in a pretty interesting way. The title of this code is actually called Grass and Snow, and I can see why it got this name, but in reality it just kinda messes up a lot of the backgrounds and foregrounds. You may be walking along a normal bit of the level, only to next stumble upon a white or blue section. Even this power turned green for me. There isn't any real added enhancement or anything for this code, the game just has some weird colours. I was kinda hoping for it to be snowing or something, but well, on to the next code. And finally it is the code we've all been waiting for, AAVPLAGA, or otherwise known as Jesus Mode, and it's a pretty weird and wonderful code. With this bad boy in place you can walk on and in backgrounds, whether it be a tree, a cloud or a small mountain. You can climb in it, and if you aren't careful you might get stuck in it too. It's a bit of a weird one to describe, but it's actually pretty handy. Well, that is until you get to World 1-3 though. Unless you use the warp zone, you actually get stuck in the background wall and on top of the plants, leaving you stranded without being able to enter the door to progress. So all in all I think this is a pretty sweet code to end on, even if you do get a little bit stuck. But still, the code's name was Jesus Mode, how could you not give that one a try? Anyway, that's it for today my friends. I do hope you enjoyed this part 2 of hacking Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES with me. If you did, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you are new to the Mayhem, Make a comment down below, and also why not check out some of my other videos? You may just enjoy them too. And with all that said, I'll catch you soon, my friends.